What does it mean to grow as a person? To look back at past versions of ourselves and truly see who we have become. The Monogatari series has always been about more than just supernatural apparitions. It's a mirror held up to our souls, forcing us to confront life's most difficult questions. In Monster and Off-Season, we are taken on a journey of identity, struggle, and transformation. From Nadeko Sengoku's fractured self-reflection to Aragi's final acceptance of his flaws. This installment of Monogatari feels like a conversation, not just between characters, but with us, the audience. So, let's talk about what makes this season so special, the lesson it offers, and the emotions it stirs. How do you face a version of yourself you've been avoiding? The season starts with Nadeko Sengoku, a character whose narrative takes us into a messy, chaotic heart of self-discovery. She opens with a brutally honest observation. If I were reading a manga about myself, I would think I'm all over the place. That line sets the tone for her arc, one that's not about perfection, but the struggle to reconcile who she was, who she is, and who she wants to become. Nadeko's journey isn't just hers, it's ours too. The animation leans into her emotional turbulence, with fragmented visuals reflecting her scattered thoughts. But beyond the visuals, this part of the season asks us a pointed question. Have you ever looked at your past self and wondered, why did I make those choices? As Yotsugi Ononoki helps Nadeko face her fragmented selves, versions of her past literally running from her, it becomes clear that this is more than a supernatural story. It's about the internal battle we all face when trying to grow. The doll's detached yet poignant narration adds a layer of depth. Change isn't abnormal, it's the refusal to change that is. What does it mean to live without emotions? Is it even possible to exist without feeling anything, or is that just another way of lying to ourselves? Yotsugi Ononoki's claim of having no emotions feels almost like a defense mechanism, one that reminds me of times I've said, I don't care, when deep down I cared too much. In Monogatari, this facade becomes a lens to explore questions about life, death, and what lies in between. Her strange detachment is captivating because, ironically, it feels so human. Life and death through the eyes of the immortal. Yotsugi's battle with the slug apparition is fascinating because it's not just about a physical fight. It's a reflection of her inner conflict as someone who has lived and died before. Her struggle to comprehend the finite nature of others speaks volumes about the limits of immortality. For example, the slug's transformation from paper to its intimidating 3D form mirrors the illusion of complexity in life's challenges. Despite its size, Yotsuki defeats it in her flat way, proof that perspective matters more than just a brute force. The Phoenix and Memory. Tsuke's amnesia, caused by the Phoenix apparition, introduces a haunting question. If you could forget all your pain, would you? The series suggests that our struggles and traumas, as much as we'd like to erase them, are what shapes us into who we are today. Yotsugi's role here is especially poignant. For someone who claims to lack emotions, her fleeting moment of fear when faced with death again is deeply telling. Can an emotionless being truly feel fear, or is this just another layer of her facade? In broader reflection, this arc challenges the viewer, us, to rethink what it means to live meaningfully. Is living without emotions really living, or does that numbness rob life of its essence? Yotsugi's narrative suggests that even the emotionless have cracks in their armor, and through those cracks, a sliver of humanity shines. What do you think defines being alive? The ability to feel or the choices we make? Part 3: Nadeko's Labyrinth and Finding Yourself in Chaos. Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by who you used to be that you couldn't even face who you are now? How do you confront the past that feels like a stranger? Nadeko Sengoku's arc is a deeply personal one for me. Her journey to confront her fragmented past selves. Flirty Nadeko, meek Nadeko, wrathful Nadeko is a metaphor for the way we all wrestle with versions of ourselves we would rather leave behind. And watching her face these echoes of her past reminded me of moments when I had to reckon with my own mistakes. The struggle of fragmented identity. Nadeko's encounters with her past selves aren't just fights, they are therapy sessions. Each past self represents a different coping mechanism: flirtation, anger, submission. Together, they form a kaleidoscope of the struggles we face in reconciling who we were with who we want to become. For example, the library scene, where collapsing bookshelves nearly crush Nadeko, is a stunning metaphor for the weight of unresolved memories. It's only through an unexpected act of selflessness by flirty Nadeko that she survives, a moment that highlights the paradoxical strength of our weaker selves and the support in unexpected places. Yotsugi's psychological tricks to motivate Nadeko, like exaggerated praise, are a beautiful reminder of the importance of support systems. Sometimes the right encouragement can help us face even the most daunting challenges. In broader reflection, this arc isn't just about Nadeko's growth, it's about the universal need to embrace every part of ourselves, even the messy ones. The past doesn't define us, but it shapes us, and accepting that is a vital step toward becoming whole. Do you think we can truly ever move on from our past selves? Or do they always just linger as a part of who we are? Let me know. Have you ever looked back and realized how far you have come, only to feel both proud and nostalgic for the person you used to be? Growth is beautiful, but it's also bittersweet. Nadeko's final confrontation with her past selves hit me hard. It's not just about a battle for survival, it's a battle for self acceptance. The scene where she faces meek Nadeko outside the school gates is one of the most emotionally charged moments in the series. It reminded me of times when I had to let go of old fears to move forward, a difficult but necessary step. Meek Nadeko's challenge. This version of Nadeko, the one who clung to love and idolized Koyome, questions current Nadeko's maturity. Have you forgotten what it felt like to love blindly? She asks. This moment perfectly captures the tension between growing up and holding on to youthful innocence. The resolution, where Nadeko promises not to lose that part of herself but also commits to moving on, is a masterclass in character growth. It's a reminder that letting go doesn't mean forgetting, it means evolving. Nadeko's offer from Yotsugi and Gaen, a stable job and financial security, is a poetic conclusion to her arc. After struggling with uncertainty, this unexpected opportunity symbolizes how life can surprise us in the best ways when we persevere. A bittersweet farewell. The episode ends with Nadeko reflecting on how growth is both a relief and a loss. Ononoki's line, "You're not who you used to be," feels like a celebration of progress, but it also carries a pang of sadness. As viewers, we can't help but feel proud of Nadeko, even as we share her nostalgia for who she once was. This arc, in broader reflection, beautifully encapsulates the duality of growth, the pride in moving forward and the ache of leaving behind who we once were. It's a universal truth that resonates deeply, especially in a series as introspective as Monogatari. What's a moment in your life where you felt both proud of your progress and nostalgic for the past? Let me know. What does it mean to be seen for your soul rather than your appearance? And what if the beauty of your soul was too much for the world to handle? The 6.5 episode, told through a haunting fairy tale, offers a glimpse into Kishot's tragic origins. It's a story about a princess cursed by her own beauty, both external and internal. And it made me think about how often we wish to be truly seen, but rarely consider the burden that might bring. The princess's transformation, her body becoming transparent so people could see her soul, is an unsettling metaphor. It suggests that while vulnerability is powerful, being too exposed can destroy not only ourselves, but those around us too. The mass suicides in the story are a harrowing exaggeration of this idea. The witch's curse and redemption. The witch's role as both the instigator and savior is a brilliant twist by forcing the princess into solitude. She saves her life but also condemns her to isolation. This dichotomy mirrors the duality of Kishod herself, a being of immense beauty and power, but one doomed to eternal loneliness. This leads us to connection across time, because this tale, while set 600 years ago, ties seamlessly into the present narrative. It gives us a deeper understanding of Kishot's character and the weight she carries as an immortal. Her pain feels timeless, yet deeply relatable. In broader reflection, this story isn't just about Kishot, it's about the universal desire to be seen and understood, and the dangers of being exposed too completely. It's a reminder that true connection requires both vulnerability and boundaries. And my question for you, would you want people to see your true self, even if it meant exposing your deepest vulnerabilities? What if time, which shapes and defines us, became meaningless? How would your relationships and your identity change if eternity was your reality? Kishot's transformation from a mortal princess into the legendary vampire is more than a tale of power. It's a story of loss and adaptation. Her relationship with Deftopia Virtuoso Suicide Master, though dark, shows the complexity of immortal connections. And this part resonated with me as it delves into how time alters our understanding of relationships. The burden of immortality. As Axelera grows into Kishshot, the narrative explores the alienation of eternal life. Her realization that all that is fair will inevitably fade is haunting, especially as she confronts the cost of her existence, destruction, and loss. In terms of Devtopia's role, Devtopia's dynamic with Axelora is fascinating. Their rivalry and connection are rooted in shared immortality, but they approach it differently. For Devtopia, life is an endless playground of chaos, while Axelora seeks meaning in her survival. Immortality and empathy. When Arage confronts Axelora about her actions and mindset, it's a reminder of how empathy bridges the gap between mortals and immortals. His question, "What are humans to?" challenges her to reflect on the connections she has formed despite her vampire nature. In broader reflection, this arc challenges us to think about the nature of relationships and identity when time becomes infinite. It's a poignant reminder that even eternal beings crave understanding and connection, just as we do in our fleeting lives. If you could live forever, how would it change the way you value relationships and your own identity? Let me know. What does it mean to be stuck between childhood and adulthood? To feel like you're growing up but still not quite there yet? Koyomi's struggles with maturity and responsibility feel deeply personal. His reflection on what it means to be an adult, especially after witnessing Kaganui's decisive actions, hit close to home. We've all been there, caught in that liminal space when we are trying to find our footing. Kai Harimase's haunting words about adolescence being a dark blue perfectly encapsulate the turbulence of youth. It's not just about joy or sorrow, it's a mixture of both. Struggle to find clarity in chaos. And the price of hesitation, Kaganui's brutal efficiency contrasts with Koyomi's indecision. It's about a stark reminder that maturity often demands tough choices, but it also raises questions about the cost of such decisiveness. In terms of acceptance and balance, by the end, Koyomi comes to terms with his identity. He acknowledges that he is still a child, younger than a younger girl, but instead of fighting this truth, he embraces it. His smile in the final moments feel like a culmination of his growth throughout the series, and I love that. In broader reflection, Koyomi's arc is powerful exploration of what it means to grow up. It reminds us that adulthood isn't about having all the answers. It's about learning, adapting, and finding peace with who you are. Do you ever feel caught between who you are now and who you're trying to become? Let me know. What makes a story truly unforgettable? Is it the ending or the journey that brings us here or there? In terms of final reflection, I have for Monogatari Monster Season, it is that it is a masterpiece of storytelling, weaving together profound themes, unforgettable characters, and stunning visuals. From Nadeko's journey of self-acceptance to Koyomi's struggles with maturity, every arc offers something deeply relatable yet fantastically unique. It's a story that, like life itself, doesn't tie everything up neatly. Instead, it leaves you reflecting, questioning, and yearning for more. If you have enjoyed diving into these themes with me, I think you will love my review of Oshinoko Season 2, where we explore fame, struggles, and the lessons we can take into our lives. Thank you for watching. I'll see you there in the next video. Bye.